Good morning, Rob Powell here again with our daily Facebook update. Getting a lot of feedback. I really appreciate that you guys are enjoying this. I think we had 21,000 views on Facebook yesterday, so it's the best way that we can get straight from the horse's mouth to the public without and on a daily thing. So clears up any rumors or any questions. But if you do have questions, feel free to ask on Facebook and we'll get them answered. Anyway, today's Monday, June 11th, and I'll just kind of go around the horn like we did before, starting in Branch 1, Division Alpha. For you folks last night that are in the Durango area, living on this south end, you saw what happened. We had the fire that was backing down through the Hermosa Creek drainage to the north of Hermosa here, got lined up with some drainages coming up out of Buck Creek, and I know there's some videos out there that you can see what happened. We had a strong southerly push on the winds, and they lined up in these drainages, and Buck Creek was kind of sheltered from that and made a big uphill run. And then we had a column come out of there that was twisting and turning, and it started throwing spots and gets established more, and it made a pretty good push towards Hermosa and this Falls Creek area. But yesterday we got this, the Idaho City Hotshots, who timed out yesterday, was their last day. They got some closure on their hand line where they anchored up to the face on the south end. And so they're looking really good as far as this portion of Alpha. This over on this side, excuse me, is where the fire came out of the Buck Creek drainage right in here and started making a kind of a flanking run down towards the houses into here. We actually had fire come down to a house. But to you folks in Falls Creek, I want to give you super kudos, because your Firewise stuff that you folks have been doing has been help these firefighters, our firefighters, to get save those houses, because although we had sprinklers in place and structure protection, and we had to do some burning around to bring that down, it all paid off. And fortunately, through your pre-efforts and our efforts on the ground, that we have not lost a structure. We did have, folks could see it, we did have a pretty good air show late yesterday afternoon when that made that push. We had the VLAT, heavy air tankers, heavy helicopters, seats, all kinds of air show going on, just trying to flank that and kind of cool that off to where we can grab it and take it back down. Today, they're going to continue working around this upper Hermosa area, and then around Falls Creek subdivision, coming down to the south to where about to this point here, we took a dozer line and come across and tied into the 171E road, and then we come up to the 170E road just west of the Animas Lookout, and went straight north up here to this point here, and we've got that in place. And then we're improving the road system on the 171E, the Junction Creek Road or Junction Road, up to the Division Delta break. That was looking good. Division Hotel was up here scouting on how we can kind of close this box and build this catcher's mitt so we can protect Durango and all these structures that are between here and there. Even though with that big column bending over into here, this is our number one priority, is to keep this fire west of the 550. We did not get any spots or anything that threatened over on the east side of 550, so we're looking pretty good with that. I feel very fortunate, because as you folks could see from town here, that column launched up and bent right over 550, and we had some angels watching out for us yesterday, so it worked out great. Hotel's still scouting up into here to tie this into the wilderness boundary, button this up. We do have some cabins and things up here at the very tip. We're evaluating those that were this kind of dog legs into the wilderness, to where any protection needs up in that area, we're working on that today, so things are working well there. In Division Hotel, we spent a lot of time flying up in here looking at what's going on in here. And I can tell you that even though with the hard push, that we really didn't grow that much into here. It's kind of hung up in some lighter fuels, and it's kind of backing down into a drainage, so it didn't really get the wind and the fuels and the lineup that we had back up into here. So I don't have an accurate acreage estimate on the entire fire, but I can tell you, and the reason for that is because our IR flight last night we were unavailable to get that because the plane that does that was broke down. So we're hoping to get that more accurate information through the Colorado State's MMA plane. They flew it last night. I just don't have the data right now, but I'll be able to get that to you. But we were at 17,686 or something last year. That's probably going to bump up considerably for today. So coming back up into Branch 3 up towards Division X-ray, I told you yesterday that we had heavy equipment working and tying off into the trail system in here, going around the backside of the Purgatory community and the ski resort, and then diving off on probably the far west ski slope and tying into the Hermosa Meadows road to the north. That's in place. We're continuing to improve that. We've got feller bunchers and dozers working up there, and that's looking really well. We're also plumbing that line. When I say plumbing, that means we're putting hose lays in there, so in case this fire does come that far north, we're prepared to deal with that in a much better fashion, meeting our objectives to protect the Purgatory community. Coming down into Yankee, I talked to you about Castle Rock yesterday. Castle Rock, we got a line in place from the 550 dozer up to Castle Rock, or dozer as far as we could go, and then hotshot crews punched a hand line up that steep face through a little drainage, and they tied into Division X-ray up here. Coming down in here, we're still doing structure protection and assessments and Electra Lake area over in here, because you can see, you folks that live up there, trust me, we're making sure that we've got protection in place for this stuff. I know you folks are evacuated, but things are looking really well there. Coming back down to the break, they're just kind of nursing this along. We really didn't see much northward movement yesterday, but so we're just keeping the edge square with the road for right now. And they'll continue to do that. Zulu's starting to look good. We down to Division Alpha. We're driving through it yesterday, and I know there's questions out there that why aren't we showing more than what we are as far as containment. I didn't want to show anything else on the containment yesterday due to the fact of the red flag, due to the winds, all that other stuff. So if we had a containment and we did have a spot over here, then we're not contained. So expect on tomorrow's map that this black here will be considerably more than what it is today. And when that happens, I can assure you we're looking at the evacuation areas and when to get you folks back in. Sorry. So anyway, going back in, that brings us right back to Alpha, and we kind of took a spin around the horn. Structure protection is in place. Night shift had a really good night last night with all of this stuff that was punching around. They had to do some burning. We're looking at trying to bring this fire down and around on our terms. Looking at a plan for, we have a plan in place for doing some aerial ignition and some hand firing back behind this Falls Creek area. And once again, kudos to Falls Creek. You guys, the work you did is going to make it a heck of a lot easier for us to secure that. That's about all I have. Same lineup on the aircraft yesterday. You'll be able to see that. And if you got any questions, shoot them to Facebook and they'll get to me. That's how I knew about the containment thing, so I hope I answered that. But other than that, I want to say hi to Kaylin and all my friends back in Rapid City and all my friends on Facebook, so take care.